Grew up in Tierrasanta in the 80s, and I figured as long as I'm here at Mission Trails, go through a little tour, have some nostalgia, some reminiscences, some stories about what it was like here in 1982, 1989 or so, my formidable years. I don't know who's going to care about this video, probably two people, but whatever. So here's the site of the first crime. I was a skateboarder in the 80s, and we were back here at Puerto Vallarta, or wherever we are, Rueda, at a ramp. And this is like way out here. If you look at a map, it's like the very edge. It was a trek to get out here. So we're riding home on the street right here, and at just this time, a friend's brother, older brother, comes by on a scooter, and he's like, "Hey, who wants to get dragged up this hill?" So me and one other kid are like, us. So we both grab onto the back of the scooter. I'm on the left, he's on the right. And at some point coming up this, what seemed like a gigantic hill at the time, but this tiny little hill, the grade changed to the gravel and all shitty, and I ate it. I lost control. And I knocked down the other kid. I don't remember who it was, but what I do remember is I knocked his legs out from underneath him, and we both fell, and he fell on top of me, and he was unscathed, and I was not. So I like ripped my shorts through and essentially had a giant open wound from my hip down to my ankle. It was pretty nasty. So that's what I think about when I'm on this little hill here. As my mom tells the story, she wanted to take me to the hospital, and I refused, and just kind of picked all the asphalt and gravel and shit out of my leg myself and cleaned it up and was on my way. So I don't know if that was dumb or smart or why I did that, but it turned out okay. Just had a giant scab shaped like South America all the way running down my leg, and if I shaved my leg, I'm guessing there's still a good amount of scar tissue back there now. So there's stop number one. Stop number two is right around the corner here. And it's just an interesting tidbit of trivia that people don't know about. So as we go around this hill, this corner, you can see that this house here looks a lot different than all the other houses. Like, these are all original 1970s era houses, and boom, there's this one that looks a lot different. So the reason for that is back around 2004, there was a big fire in San Diego County. I think it was called the Cedar Fire. And for those of you that don't live in a fire-prone area, the fire spreads a lot by embers floating up in the air and falling down. And even though the meat of that fire was a good 15-20 miles away, an ember made its way all the way over here and fell onto that house, which had wooden shingles on it at the time. If you look at all the houses now, a lot of them are tile roofs and shake shingles and more fire retardant things, and it's because of that. So just an ember fell on that one house and burned it down, and everything else, oh, doggy, and everything else survived. So you just get these really random little things happening during a fire, and there you go. So there's your trivia about that house. And more dogs. Look at them, that one wants to attack me. You doggies. Man, nothing but dogs out here today. Alright. Maybe about a half a mile from the Calle de Vida trailhead entrance at Mission Trails Park. And back in the 80s, we used to ride our BMX bikes out here. It was a heck of a trek back then when you're a kid on a one-gear BMX bike, but this area here we called the Wall. And you know, like I said, back then this wasn't a public park. Nobody came back here. So like all this shrubbery, all this overgrowth, and this fence wasn't there. So what you would do is you would ride your bike up this side along the ridge, and then you'd come shooting down and launch off of this side and get mad air. And it was almost like a, it looks like a snowboard half pipe. And you could prove how brave or stupid you were by how far up that you went. I wasn't that brave on a bike. I was more of an idiot on the skateboard, so I probably didn't go much past, this part. But this is where everybody hung out. And it's just interesting that it's kind of still here, but people have no clue. This used to be a fun thing. Now it's just a SDG&E access road, but there you go. There's some nostalgia. The wall. So here's something important to know if you're riding around Tierrasanta, especially this area formerly called Camp Elliott. That's behind Ascension Parish and Portola Middle School. Used to be a kind of a bombing range in World War II, and every once in a while live munitions or duds turn up. They get dug up. In the 80s, when I was freshman in high school, I think, some kids, I think some brothers in my grade, like dug one up or found one and threw a rock at it, and it blew up and unfortunately killed one of them. Really injured the other one. So the military and the Navy, I guess, has come through here and swept, but I guess to this day, how long has it been since World War II? Really long time. They still find them. So if you're down here, don't touch things that look like metal. Back in my day, the houses up there were not there. Up the top of that hill, that school wasn't there. This was a trek to get back here. And this is what we call Dishwasher. Wow, it's like an actual park now. Weird. Oh, and there's a doggy. So we'd come down here, ride our skateboards. It's kind of not a great place for skateboarding because the flat is so long. Like, you go down and you got to push a couple times to get to the other side. We used to ride our bikes back here, but it's really weird to see it now. There's probably a few skateboards in the water there, and I think the lore is that there's an actual dishwasher. Someone threw their trash back there. But it's kind of cool that if you look on Trail Forks, they've named this Dishwasher Pond, which means that the tradition from at least the 70s continues, or some old guy like me named it. But that's what it looks like. There's a doggy having fun in there. Oh, he looks like he's kind of old or tired. What a cutie. So there, he looks like they covered up all the graffiti. But yeah, it's funny seeing that this thing that... Whoa, did you hear that? That was so far away from everything back in the day. Like, has a trail and houses, and it's like right here. Ooh. Seems like there should be a hawk in those trees over there or something. So anyway, a lot of birds down here. I was hoping to have some fun riding up and down in there, but I don't want to bug the dog. So anyway, over and out. This place on the end was Pizza Hut. Yeah, damn, the windows used to be shaped like a Pizza Hut. It looks like they tore it out. I spent many a day playing Marble Madness in there. But yeah, it doesn't look like Pizza Hut at all anymore. That donut store has always been a donut store. It used to be Donut Cottage. If I had $1, I'd go get a donut. Looks exactly the same. Laundry basket has always been a laundry basket for like 40 years. I'm trying to think of what else was over here. There was the Realtor. That one on the end, I think, used to be Pizza Hut Delivery or Domino's or something. We used to get up early before school and come right out here. Skateboards. You can kind of still see this curb is all waxy. They put the dumpsters in front of it now. You see all that? That's all from the 80s. And I fell off of that one time and jammed my finger and cracked it in a bunch of places. So another skateboarding injury. I think this tour is going to just turn into all the places I've hurt myself riding a skateboard. Vons, always been Vons. Thanks. Oh, thanks. There used to be, oh, there is still a bar over here. Yeah, I don't remember what any of this stuff was, but this J&D's Pub. It used to be called something else, but it's always been some sort of a bar. And then back behind, we should have the loading dock. Yeah, so the loading dock, my God, it looks so tiny now, but when you're, 13 years old, this is like, oh, jump your skateboard off the loading dock. It was like, you were pretty cool if you could do that. I think I did it once or twice, and that was enough for me. It's actually kind of boring. It's like once one or two people do it, then everyone starts doing it, and it's just kind of like, oh, that's not such a big deal. You just drop off of it. Who cares? But that's the loading dock, so that's fun. There you go. So there's the Vons Shopping Center. So this is the neighborhood I lived in when we moved here to California in 1982. And this second garage here, the room above it, is where we lived. That was our house, 10129. And interesting, it looks like the number pad that my dad put in for the garage is still there, the one on top. New garage door. Not that anyone who lived around here would be listening to this or seeing this, but my dad was the guy that built an airplane in his garage. Yep, that's where it happened. So that was the parents' room right there, above the garage. And, oh, woofy dog. This patio here without the door open was ours. The room above that was my brother's room. And if you look to the left, way back above this other garage, that was my room. And my sister's room was around the other side, but I'm not going to go over there. It looks largely the same. And it's just drab colors. I don't know, that same tree. The fence there is new, but like the trellis on top looks exactly the same. Not much has changed. Yeah, let's go around this way. Why not? I'll probably edit a lot of this shit out because who cares, but there's always people. Oh, geez. Funny, in 1982 there was a lady there that had a couple of dogs that barked all the time. Tippy and Toto. Why do I remember that? Looks like there's still kids around. Yeah, it's funny because this like little grain belt just seems so huge when you're a kid. And I could throw a football across it, but it just seems so big. If I'm not mistaken, one time as a teen, my brother had too much to drink and he passed out in this thing in the grass. Well, I might be making that up, but I don't know. I think it was him. Someone did. Anywho, I think that's it. There's my old house. So this is my high school. Junipero Serra High. Go Conquistadors in San Diego. Class 89 rules, bitches. At that time, what I'm on now was just a big dirt lot. It had a backstop on it. It was kind of a baseball field for a while. Now, this thing is here, the Technology Center. Ooh, nice. By the way, a little earlier in my tour, my chain broke, and yeah, it took me a while to repair it. I've never repaired a chain in the field. By the way, this like yellow tan building that looks like it's behind a prison fence wasn't there either. That was part of the parking lot. And these solar panels are new also. Anyway, so, and since I've never put a chain back together, believe it or not, in almost 50 years of life, never had to do that. I didn't do it right. So the chain broke, not on the master link. It was a regular link, so I took that out, and then I'm like, oh dang, this isn't on the bike. It's got to be threaded through the frame. So I threaded through the frame, and then I realized, oh damn, I gotta thread this through the derailleur. Like shit. So I had to break the chain a third time. So I got 3, you know, weak links in the stupid chain. But I've ridden up one hill and probably gone about 1.5 miles, and it's holding on. So we're just gonna go for it. I'm about as far from the car as I'm gonna be. So I think I'm just gonna stick with it and see what happens. Go to the 1 or 2 other places I'm gonna go after the high school, and see what happens. So every moment after I turn on this parking lot is getting closer to the car, but it's a good 2 miles away. I could have gone down to the football field, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to climb up. I don't have to. Kind of sucks. It looks like all the gates are closed. I was hoping to get inside, but maybe that's not going to happen. Well, those 2 people are in there. We'll see. We'll go around the whole outside. So one thing you'll notice that's interesting is all the doors there, like that door is brown. All the other doors are brown. All the numbering and stuff is brown. And that's the color of the school. It's brown and gold. But back in the 80s, everything was blue. Like all these doors were blue. All the numbers on the side of the building were blue. Everything was blue. And the reason was because there's a sister school in Mira Mesa that's the same exact architecture. Yeah, see how that's yellow now? That 4 used to be blue. This gate here, that's brown, used to be blue. Is it locked? Yeah, it's locked. Damn! And the sister school's colors were blue and white. And there was something apparently wrong in the orders or the architectural stuff, but they didn't paint that school brown. They painted both schools blue. And I guess it wasn't in the budget to fix. So when I was going to high school here in the 80s, 85, 89, 84, because 8th grade was here too, it just remained blue. And so who knows how long it was blue. But it's brown now, but it hasn't always been that way. So there's your trivia for the day. It's interesting that, you know, this building is brown and gold, but the tech center is blue. So I wonder why that remains blue. That seems weird. But what are you gonna do? All right, let's go around the front, see what's going on. So this is the front office where the principal was, and is interesting. There's like an extra fence around this thing, like this near fence that wasn't there. That was all open. Maybe people break into the classrooms in that building? I don't know. Seems kind of weird. So you gotta sneak through 2 gates if you want to get in there. But it's not gonna happen. Yeah, this second gate used to be the only one. You used to be able to just walk right over there. Not a problem. Anyway, can't get in there anyway, but however, hopefully the camera's lined up, but you see on that brown gate in there, it looks like there used to be some signs on it that they took down, and it's blue. See? Told ya. Everything used to be blue. So now they got to get some brown paint and paint that shit. But you can still see remnants of the blue. I bet you if you went to one of these doors and scratched at it, you could see a layer of blue paint underneath it. So this building here is new. There was no building there when I was here. It was that was just grass. Oh yeah, it looks like they're building a lot of stuff back there. So the bungalows, yes, these look like they're vintage. There were a lot more of these, what were supposed to be temporary classrooms out here. Looks like some of them survive. They were awful. They were freaking hot. And just like, even in the 80s, they seemed like they were from the 50s. They were just all dilapidated and garbage. Nobody liked having classes out there. Tennis court's the same. I'm having flashbacks for driver's ed. Was in this bungalow right at the end here. Remember that shit. Yeah, all this looks the same. Mostly, even the pavement looks the same. It looks like it's 100 years old. 3D. Forgot I got a camera up there. Oops. Let's see, is it aimed right? That feels about right. Maybe down a little more. Derp. Yeah, wow. This looks just as shitty as it did 30 years ago. Oh god, those numbers. I forgot about that. Roll call. Get on your number. Some bitch. That's funny. Oh my god, the same monkey bars. Exactly the same. Can't believe they still have that. Yikes. This field looks better than it used to. It used to not have like very good grass on it. Wow. It's kind of nice. That looks like a real field, as well as the track around it. Dang, yeah. Back in the 80s, the track was just dirt. You know, there was no lanes. It was, yeah, it was pretty awful, and it was real turf. And that doesn't look like grass, unless it's just really good grass, because nobody's, you know, on it. But man, that is a world of difference. Nice. Kids these days have it so easy with their nice track. Oof. So this is the lunch area. Cafeteria was over there, which in all my time here I never went in, not a single time. I never had a school lunch. We had an open campus, so we got to leave. Vending machines were right there in the middle, and unfortunately this wood fence thing is in the way. There was like an outdoor stage over there that I fell off and hurt myself once, so that was going to be another injury tour, but we don't get to see that. Something they don't want us to see. Oh, there's nothing back there anyway. Oh, you know what? That might be auto shop. Those look like... Oh no, that's gym equipment. Maybe there is no auto shop anymore. But you see those boxes back there? Blue. Huh? Shelving. Blue. There you go. Yeah, it actually looks like, if you look in the ceiling there, it looks like there's like air hoses and stuff. So it looks like this used to be auto shop, but is not. Budget cuts. All right. I think that is going to conclude the tour of the high school. It looks largely the same, except it's got a big S. That wasn't there. Largely the same, but updated in some aspects. Look at that conquistador. Man, that looks good. It's a trash school in the 80s. Fuck. Anyway, so that's it. Let's move on to the other things. So back, I think, in 1984, around Christmas, 7th grade, I busted my foot. This is another stop on the skateboarding injury tour, and it happened here at the Bricks. It's what we call the Bricks. This was a skate spot. So yeah, I was on top of this here by the tree. Tick, 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 tick. And somewhere around here I jumped off and I slipped. My foot slipped and I landed with my foot in front of the skateboard, and the skateboard cracked into my ankle and rolled my ankle and broke it. So I got to spend Christmas in a cast. That was lame, but that's where it happened. It doesn't look too bad now, but it broke my foot. I walked around on it for a day or two before I went to the hospital, and they said, nope, it's broken. But it wasn't really broken. I can't remember what I broke, but I had a walking cast. But that's where that happened. Portofino Bricks. Famous skate spot in the 80s. Apparently nothing now. So now we're in the Dumpy Mall, across from the high school over there. I feel like that's always been dentist. It's just always a nothing place. I think that Subway's been there a really long time. I feel like that's normal. One of these two places, the Hair Club or Chili Peppers, I think it was Chili Peppers, was the surf shop, Surfer Image, for a while, but there's not much worth going in here. Round Tables, I think that's always been Round Table. But now we're going to get to the older part of the mall. That Country Wine and Spirits, always been a liquor store of some sort. Nice. What else are we got? Cleaners, Goodwill, Spa, Hair, Hawaiian, UPS store, shit. Nails, oh, donuts. That's always been a donut store. I think that was Yum Yum. That Starbucks was a Pioneer Chicken. That McDonald's used to be Carl's Jr. What else we got? Straight ahead, the Hallmark store used to be a place called Sprouts Ritz. Sprouts Ritz? Oh wait, Gaetano's. Wow. That's been there since 1982, at least. Dang, can't believe that's still there. Nice. Great when people are looking at me. So I'm talking to myself. I don't remember what this Ace Hardware was, but it's nothing. It was something else. But that Hallmark was a Sprouts Ritz, which is basically like a Hallmark, like independent. This was the Thrifty. We used to get cheap ice cream. So kind of cool, that's still there. This grocery store here was Alpha Beta. I'm guessing Alpha Beta is defunct. But now it's a Smart and Final Extra. Whatever the hell that means. There was a yogurt place over here, frozen yogurt, gone. I feel like this Choice of Mandarin has been there a really long time. Oh, Submarina. Number 2, second Submarina ever. At 8. Look at that. Yeah, that came in when I was in like 7th grade. Nice. And this AutoZone, this is where the hardware store was. This used to be Jim Dandy, True Value Hardware, and now it's that. So some things the same, but pretty much the same looking mall anyway. It's always been a bank. McDonald's, is it lunchtime yet? Oh, it's totally lunchtime. Oh well, later. Gotta get back to the car. I'm really happy that the chain is holding up. I'm probably a mile closer to the car now. Nice. Alright, that's it.